Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. We've got it going. Okay, hey everybody, good evening. So the Saturday call with Kim was basically a call to arms to the groups, the state groups. We're gonna have to step it up. It looks like through FEMA, Jared Kushner, who's running a parallel system to FEMA, they're pulling supplies to the states, and which means
Man,
no money.
I'm going to have to get out and get back in. I'm not even hearing anybody. Sorry.
Okay, I'll wait. Do you guys want me to wait, Jim?
Phyllis will come right back. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically Kim has made a deal with another group. I don't know who it is. I'm assuming it's an outside country to bring us in food and medical supplies. And the THI state groups are going to be responsible for receiving and distributing them. So our job right now is to get ourselves together, get our regions, get hubs put together. We kind of made a bit of that. And Bill Chelly, I don't know if Bill's on tonight or not, but Bill had, Jim informed me that Bill had come up with the 5 regions for us. So we kind of have that already done. We need to figure out who's in those regions and what we're going to do. Are we going to use airports? We're going to use fairgrounds. We need the places to be secured. We need them to be kind of large where trucks could drive in, and that we can keep it secure that when they do pull in. And then we're going to need distribution, and then maybe some mini hubs for places like LA. LA's huge. So we're going to need to be able to get that stuff from a main hub to smaller hubs, and then make sure it stays safe from the main hub to the small hub. And that'll all be on our responsibility to do that. And we need to find the sites. So we need to find NGO groups, hospitals, groups that can, staying away from specifically Red Cross, she said. We're not to deal with FEMA. We're not dealing with those groups. So it will be groups that can actually help us. Or if we can, like Jim's going to be able to get quite a bit of manpower from where he's at. And we could just maybe use friends and organizations that we might belong to, whom we trust to help us once we get them the foods and the supplies to the hubs to distribute them out. And another kind of hurdle that we thought of, Jim, was the advertising. So if we get the food, we get the supplies, how do we get it to the people? How will they know? How will they know to come to us? So that's something we're also going to have to work out as well. And we did talk about some of that on Monday night. So anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so you call, I just wanna, you say hubs, distribution, organizations, just for clarification, away from Red Cross,
yes,
and FEMA. So organization would be type of, for example, like could be churches or like.
Yes.
Just give an example, brainstorm to open our brains.
Yes, that's exactly it. We need to brainstorm that because at this point, I mean, what if I think Thomas said, don't go to the Rotary, obviously. Don't go to Masons. Don't go to Elks. Those aren't places we're going to go to. Phyllis, did you need to say something?
She's muted.
Oh, no.
maybe after
Estella,
we do this, we can do a brainstorm so we, not everybody.
That's what this call is all about.
Yeah.
Estella, were you able to listen to the recording from Monday? You asked me about it.
No, okay, I couldn't get that one.
You were mentioned,
Kim.
You were mentioned, and you'll understand as we go further on this call. We're setting up 5 major hubs, distribution hubs. Bill broke it down, but we're going to have to redo that also because we have new people on here.
Yeah, it would be like, Estella, it would be like Northern California, right? Me and you are close and somebody else is close. So we're going to find out where would be a good central location for a big hub and then smaller hubs off of that. And then down where Jim's at, San Diego's a big hub. Several members live there. We found out several members, some of the new members live near other older members, so we can do that. Demi's got a big graphic down there. We found out, is it Bill Willits that lives next to Demi?
You said Glendale or something?
Yeah. Yes, Glendale and Angela also.
Yeah, so we're actually going to have to, and then we'll be
That's LA.
Yeah, and then we're going to smaller groups, and then all of us in the smaller group in that 5 regions, we will work together to come up with a plan to get our it'll be a main transportation and a main distribution, but how are we going to do it and what groups will we use? So,
Kimberly.
So in your case, Estella, you will be connected to, let's say, a main hub in Sacramento, and you can also, in your own community, provide an extension hub from the main hub by way of, you'll have to work this out on your own, by the way of going to what fire departments were mentioned. If you have a local community fire department that isn't connected to the state by way of, for funding, or the federal funding, and it's a community fire department that specifically is there to protect the people and help the people, and those guys are most likely all good guys. And then there's other things that were mentioned. If you have a small airport, I think the small airports are closed down, and you might need to call or approach them in some way to make them aware that there'll be medical supplies and food supplies coming if this all manifests.
I have one thing I wanted to say. I thought about this morning when I was in the garden watering, because this is going to be done under TPC, so it'll be the People's Club distributing, not THI. So TPC is a nonprofit organization. They have a 501(c). Well, we could literally go to the local news station saying, once we speak to Thomas, get the approval to use the nonprofit to approach mainstream, saying we're a nonprofit. In time of need, we have this food and we're going to distribute it. Because it actually has a nonprofit. The People's Club is a nonprofit.
Oh, that's a great point.
Right.
Kimberly, Oath Keepers. Oath Keepers is what I was thinking of. Wasn't it the Oath Keepers that helped the Bundy Ranch?
Yes, it was. Yes.
So I think the Oath Keepers is somebody we could probably, if there's anybody on here who knows anybody in that group.
Yeah, they're easy to contact. You can actually go online and just punch in Oath Keepers. They're a very private, quiet group of people for good reason, because they, they're the type people that literally and actually stand up for the oath that they've taken. They're all ex-veterans, cops, sheriffs, but they're the ones that actually stand up for the oath that they've taken. And so they're all good guys, and you can get to them, but they're, like I said, they're very private. So you might have to try to find somebody that's in the organization that will help you to get to them. They're kind of like a militia,
Right. What about the veterans? Are we going to want to make direct connection with veterans to get food to them direct as well? Or do we want to not single them out and just make it the same? Everyone comes at once to get food.
Well, may I ask, interrupt here? I'm sorry. I need to know some things because I'm doing some planning and I need to talk to other people. Where is this food coming from? How is it being delivered? Who's shipping it? Who's paying for it? What are the basics? How much is there? And what kind of food is it? All of this is really necessary because, in LA, we've got a huge layout. So I have to know this. Maybe you could explain that, Jim or Kimberly, I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
We don't have a lot of that info right now. It's basically, this will occur if other things don't occur. So if they push it to the point where we don't have food, we don't have supplies, and the stores are starting to run out, this is going to be done as a last-ditch effort, was my take on it, so that we don't have civil unrest.
Got it.
So the food will be, Kim already, out of her own mouth, she's already made a deal. If this has to happen, it's a done deal. And then then there'll be security forces transporting with the food, because FEMA's already been taking food and supplies off the ports. They're just taking
Do you have any idea what is there a maximum amount of food? Because we could have
We don't know yet. That was the
Don't know
thing.
yet.
We were wanting that information on the call. People did ask, but she didn't give specifics. It would probably be operational at that point, and we weren't going to be told over a Zoom call because it's not happening yet. I'm guessing we'll find out, and that's why we have to be semi-prepared. I know, Demi, we'll work with you because you guys have a huge area. You're not. I just can't imagine we'd be expected to be doing alone. That won't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start talking to people in that case. And hey, hi, Bill Willits, are you on there? He's muted. Okay. Bill and I think hi. Bill and I think Angela are. There you are. I think we're all kind of local. Maybe we could just have a little powwow.
Yes.
Next couple of days. It'd be fun to meet you too in the flesh, so to speak. But yeah, we have a lot of I already know some charitable organizations I've already worked with, and that can give me the lay of the land. And then basically, so now I know where all this is coming from. And if it sounds like if we need to move on this, we're gonna have to move fast because we know what they're up to. We also have to understand that this is a war, of course, and that they will try to prevent us from doing this.
Yes.
So that's also part of the picture. Well, we have our work cut out for us, but I think this is really great. So I'll just listen to what you have to say. I have ideas for LA, and we'll just go through and keep going. Thanks.
Perfect.
Okay, just one question. Since yes, Los Angeles will be one of the main hubs. Excuse me. I see tonight we have Phyllis in Orange County. So Phyllis, would you rather participate with San Diego or Los Angeles County?
I'd rather participate. This is a big county. I think I need to participate within my own, or you're not going to break it out with that?
No, I mean, you can connect to either main hub, San Diego or Los
so
Angeles.
Orange County is going to be part of a main hub. Okay, then I would say probably San Diego.
Orange County will be an offshoot.
Then I'd like to go with San Diego.
Okay, and you can also work on it in your own community,
Right.
the way you want. And the only thing, Demi, that they asked us to be cautious of is who we're approaching. None of the large charities.
Right.
We have to be careful who we're dealing with. That's why certain groups were mentioned: Oath Keepers, fire departments, EMTs,
Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts.
Yeah, things like that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, got it.
Hi, Mary.
I think that's it. I think what we have to do now is I think Bill, I just saw Bill log on. I'd like to hear from Bill about the 5 regions that he came up with so that we can get a solid indication of where those are and where we're all located at within that.
Just 1 second. Debbie's had her hand raised, so could we just hear from her? She might have a question. Debbie?
I'm going to mute you guys because I have to fix dinner, but I'm listening, okay?
Okay, no. Well, let's hope she doesn't have a question for you. Okay. Debbie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my internet tonight, so I'm missing half of this stuff. But I try to get in here while I can. So, first of all, I'm in Santa Cruz County. So I'm in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And also Watsonville is the same county as Santa Cruz County. So can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm really near where, we do grow a lot. And I'm kind of in the middle somewhere. So not Folsom, but more, in the middle. So let's see. We have, we do have a local fire department, which is really nice, and lots of organizations that are doing things, giving food to people and cooking food for people. But one of the organizations here is the Odd Fellows. So I don't really know about them, but they've got a nice facility that we use a lot for parties and funerals and, that kind of thing. And also we have the eclampsitis. We have a lot of those people here too.
Yeah. Well, but it's not all the time. This is like more like court stuff, right? And like,
No.
Hey,
So I was
Jacob,
just
would you
wondering if
mute,
those are-
please?
He did.
So I was just wondering if those are, if anybody knows if those are people that I could approach.
This is Kenny. I'd be careful of the Odd Fellows. They're Masonic.
Yeah, Sean was
That's what I was
shaking his
thinking.
head.
They're pretty big.
Sean was shaking his head also. I think by the end of this call, Debbie,
Okay.
you'll get a better understanding of who might be good people to approach and who might not.
Yeah. So eclampsitis.
Can't answer that.
Okay. All the
That's
ones that
okay.
I've known have been really good guys, but also some of them have worked in secret organizations too, so I don't know.
Yeah, Odd Fellows is definitely Masonic. I've been to one of their meetings in a party. It was actually a party that was thrown. They've got all the high chairs, and they do and other things that went on up there that I don't want to discuss. It's not cool. So, and the other one, if you have a Latin spelling, be careful of that. I would do some deep research on that, but I don't want to interrupt anybody. I'd like to know when I can. I'll stay muted, but I've got some questions and some direction here too.
Okay, I'm going to mention some things from chat. Tina is here and she says, I am meeting with someone this Saturday who works at a food distribution center in San Diego. I'll get more details on storage and refrigeration size then. That was from Tina. Thank you, Tina. Bill Willits, you have put in a link, but I'm not sure. Oh, somebody we could work with. It says mutualaiddisasterrelief.org. Don't know them
yeah,
as long as they're
I
not
just-
government.
I just found out about them today on a podcast. They're probably sort of an anarchist type organization. They hate FEMA. They hate everybody we hate.
Okay. All right. That's certainly worthwhile contacting them.
Yeah.
Estella put down here State of Jefferson with a question mark. I don't know too much about that group, but I guess why not? They're another group trying to fight the system.
Okay,
All right.
what do you say we organize the 5 main hubs in California? And Bill, like Kimberly said, has done he earlier on last year he put up a schematic of where all members are located. So with that, and we have new members and some people have left, so we're going to have to redo that. But if we start with the 5 main hubs, then like we talked about Monday night, we can have smaller hubs connected to the main hub by way of regions, such as Debbie just mentioned. I think you said you're in Santa Cruz, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So it sounds to me like the main hub that you'll be wanting to deal with is Bill Celli's in San Ramon, correct?
San Ramon.
He's quite far, but yeah.
You're 45 minutes from me.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay,
he's about
so
the
go
middle
ahead.
too.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, Bill. Why don't you chime in on this? And you've already created a main hub for Northern Cal in San Ramon. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, okay, so like from where I'm at to where Kim and Ken are at, we're hours apart. So they'd be like Northern California. I'm in Northern California. And then you go to Fresno, and I only had one member there, Karen. But then we got...
Karen's no longer with us.
Okay, so we got no one in the Central Valley. And then it's LA and San Diego. So we have 3 main ones. We have Northern California, Central Coast, which is out now. So we basically have 3 then. So we got Northern, LA, San Diego. But the people in this group, we've got where Ken is, and he's kind of West Coast, and then you got Kim, she's up in Chico, and they're hours apart. So, and then you've got Sacramento, which is another one. So there's like West Coast, Central, East Coast in Northern California. I'll redo the map. I got to redo the map.
Okay, Monday night, we, real quick, Bill, Monday night, we left off by putting the, and this can be changed, this was just a suggestion. We left off with having 5 major hubs: San Diego, LA County, Sacramento, San Ramon, where you are, and Redding for anyone that's up in that area. And then we everyone that's closest to those 5 areas can be have their own smaller hubs, you know, like in their own communities. So nobody has to go running around or driving around to, you know, to participate. We can do this right where you are.
Not really.
Go ahead, Bill. Who said that?
Me. Sorry.
Can I say something?
Well, who said not really?
Oh, that's me, Vicky. I was like Los Angeles.
Okay, well, explain. Go ahead.
Okay, I wrote down your 5 hubs. So San Diego, that's like 3+ hours from me. Los Angeles is only an hour. That's without traffic. But you know, that being said, like what I was talking about on Monday, you have like Jacob is in Apple Valley. I mean, what
Right.
part is he going to be part? That's like a 3.5-hour drive from me. And then here's me over there by the Ventura, Santa Barbara County. And then we have, I'm not close to, guess LA is. So I'm trying to figure out where I would be. Sacramento's like 8+ hours away. So LA would be the thing, but we're all spread out. So I'm just trying to figure out what we're saying is if they deliver in these 5 locations and then smaller trucks or whoever go to these locations and pick up more and go to the smaller locations? Is that what we're doing here?
Okay, yeah. We discussed this again Monday.
Right.
And I remember you saying that. And we didn't decide on anything, but what we discussed was whatever main hub you're closest to, you can, right from where you are, I understand, Jacob's up in Apple Valley. So you're probably closer to Los Angeles than Sacramento. Correct. And the same with you. And the same with Ken. Ken's on the West Coast, Mendocino. So we could have smaller hubs connected to the main hub, Los Angeles, east and west, on the West Coast and in the eastern interior.
Okay.
You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah. We just got to figure the drop points, like to find out if it's legit for the fairgrounds or the airports. And
yes, that's what we're doing here tonight. We're putting together the logistics, and feel free to put your ideas and.
Yeah, this is Ken on the West Coast. I've got some ideas here about my area. First thing is anybody leaves their county, they're without some kind of pass, they're subject to being quarantined. You know, if law enforcement is not on our side, but you know, law enforcement have families too, so that's going to be a question. But Ukiah has a big airport there. I also know a friend of mine. Well, he's not a close friend, but I know him and he knows me through some other issues there that happened to me in Albion. But we have a county supervisor who was a volunteer fire department captain for many, many years, and I do know him. And I might be able to touch base with him. He's a young first termer in the county, and he's not being really treated right, and he's kind of like a freshman there, but he's you know, you can tell that he's not part of the crowd when I've been looking at the meetings and watching him. So I might be able to touch base with him and see where that goes as far as here. We also have, there's a small air base up here. It's a small airport, but it's a private strip. I don't know who owns it, but it's real close to my town here. So I suspect we'll be flying this stuff in, and funding is not going to be an issue as far as main transportation is concerned. I'm going to take that or assume that's going to happen. But we also have to make sure of who we cannot talk to. I'm kind of a little leery about going. If I didn't know this fella, I wouldn't try and contact him. But he could make things happen in this county. Ukiah has large distribution points there, refrigeration, and an airport there. It was also a fire base, but I don't think it's owned by the state of California. But they used it as a fire base when we had the fires up here in Santa Rosa and also in Paradise during the Agenda 21 issues. So that's a possibility. That it has a 5,000-foot runway. I think it's minimum 5,000 feet. I'll check into it. So the size of the aircraft is going to be an issue of what we can bring into local areas. Private strips, we can talk to the people, if they're going to be part of this, they'll get a little food. They'll get what they need as well out of this stuff. So I'll try and find out who owns this private strip up here. So, but as far as Mendocino County, we also have a volunteer fire department in my local area, and I'll get with them. So I'm going to assume that we'll be able to move heaven and earth with the funds as far as transportation is concerned, and that maybe some of our needs as far as transportation, if we need to do it, is going to help a little bit here. I don't know how. Maybe we can set up to mail green dot, cards somehow from the trust to us, so that we can use them to pay for things without having to go through a bank, if that's going to be an issue. Nobody's been messing with my bank so far, but we'll see. This area up here is pretty, I call it, as we call it before, the left coast. That's where that idea came from. It's pretty liberal up in here. There's a lot of foo-foos up here. There's a lot of money up here. But, they're all hurting too, because you can't eat money. And so when it boils right down to the fact that Ukiah could be one of the, maybe not a main, if you wouldn't think of that, but one of very close to a main distribution center, if I am able to work through this county supervisor on the side privately.
Okay, Ken.
All right.
With that said, it sounds like you have it dialed in. You know what you have to do. And I think you answered questions for Vicki, who's on the other side, up on the eastern portion of Los Angeles. So same thing, Vicki. You'll be responsible for that particular area, a smaller hub connected to the main hub in Los Angeles. And again, with that said, let's go back to Bill, because Bill was the first one. The day after, or that evening after the call, Bill jumped right in and said, you can use my restaurant in San Ramon. And I'll let Bill fill us all in on what he has already available.
Well, so I just have, I'm right off the freeway. I've got a huge parking lot. I also have office buildings that are empty across the street, so I have their parking lot. And what I was thinking is a lot of places are closed that have refrigeration. So I've got 2 restaurants in my mall, plus a Starbucks that have walk-in coolers that are basically, they're not using them. So I could probably get those, if we need things refrigerated. And then we could just set up little tents like, at a Raider game tailgate or camping. And then you just put up cones and people drive in and you just hand them stuff out. You get volunteers. If it were next week, I could get 20 people, just Facebook friends, to help me that live right in my neighborhood that are just not doing anything. I could probably get some of their restaurants too, that they aren't using them. So, I mean, if this happens and we get there, it'll be, emergency, I need help, and people will come a running. I have people calling me up all the time. Can I help? Can I donate? What can I do? There's a lot of help out there. There's people that want to help, just normal people. We don't need to go through the Boy Scouts or any of them. They're disassembled right now anyways. You're just going to get some troop leader at home sitting on the couch. They're not meeting. So even the city of San Ramon, I had to call them for this garbage thing I'm going through, and there's nobody there. The only people that are around are the hospitals, the grocery stores, the fire department, and that's pretty much it. Little restaurants. Everyone else is in gas stations. So we have access to a lot of stuff if it's, to help people out. I'm sure people will give their time, and I just don't know what, like everything else in this thing, we don't know what we're going to do. But when time comes, I think we'll spring into action.
And anybody with refrigeration, be ready to not have power. In other words, generators.
Well, like in our mall, they've got the whole thing. They just got to turn it on. It's not like they turned off the power to the whole complex. If they're in any sort of strip mall, they've got power.
Well, I'm talking about PG&E or whoever your power supplier is dropping power.
Oh, yeah. Well, then that's a whole other set of issues.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The refrigeration centers is part of the planning. It's the one thing here I just tapped on is generators will have to have a backup plan for power, too.
Yeah, because people aren't going to want to give up their generators. I know during our rolling blackouts, just like you guys, you went to Home Depot to get a generator. They were all sold out. And they don't really help that much. I mean, they'll keep you need a lot of dry ice. That's what we had. We had tons of dry ice ready to go. We had it stacked in the freezer. Yeah, if they pull, we're just going to have to go dry foods if that's the case.
Yeah, and propane and also communication. If people can, dig through their old stores and find they're on a 2-wire system, if they can get a 2-wire system hooked up in case we go down, and also hams.
That's what this call's all about, putting together the logistics, Ken and Bill. And Kimberly also made a really good point on the last call. Even if this doesn't take place, we'll still be set up for having distribution centers for our overall group project plan. We just actually discussed that months ago, setting up, be ready with a distribution center to distribute produce, to the homeless or around different parts of the state. But Kimberly brought up a point. Once we get set up with these distribution centers, how are we going to inform the public that these supplies, medical and food, are available?
Well, I guess the emergency broadcast system is out of it, I guess, real quick, and I guess NPR would be out of it, huh?
Yeah.
Banners over the freeway.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned local radio stations, and I believe Willow's on the call, who has put together a flyer for the People's Club. Very well done, and that could be distributed, tacked up around the communities or whatever.
Well, what we could do is a simple flyer, and we use our website to have all the information, for the different hubs and all that. but at least, make it simple and put flyers by the supermarkets, in the local areas around us, and Facebook, use the media, but have one source that would be the website, I think, where it's updated daily,
Laundromats. They have bulletin boards at laundromats.
Okay, you have some hands raised, Phyllis.
Stella, was that was that the only thing you were?
No, Ken said something that triggered me. So when we do this, do we need to get a specific permission? And second, I bought this last weekend. I went to Sacramento to pick up my food order from a co-op from Oregon, which they come once a month. And it's a truck, and they organize very well. Each order, each people had a name, and you have to keep the distance. Everybody has masks, gloves, and all that. I think it's important, to comply, so we're no problems. So.
Well, they don't want anyone to be put in any danger. So yes, that's been mentioned tonight also. That's why. We want to set up smaller hubs connected to the main hubs so that people can do it right in their own communities, such as myself. I'm in walking distance to whatever I need to do. And what else did you mention, Estella, about?
Well, I know the county has like different group of people. They are needed, like you can be moving around with a car, like contractors.
If this takes place, Estella, you're not going to have to ask permission from anyone. You'll be the one to be calling people and say, look, we have supplies, and if this takes place, it's going to be, the reason being is that, like I said, the food chain and the supply chain has been shut down. It's all over. People are reporting this everywhere. So go ahead.
Sorry. Another idea is usually, schools, they know who are the low income families, the teachers and all that. Maybe it's another resource to, target the low income people. Voice to voice. Sometimes, a teacher, hey, we have this. Maybe if they know, they have a list of, I don't know. I just think it's usually the low income is the one that suffer the more,
Good point. Pamela.
Pamela? Oh, sorry. Pamela Libanati.
I'm here. I had to unmute. But I was wondering, with Bill and San Ramon being the main hub, as our plans are right now, would Napa County, Sonoma County, and Marin counties on the west side over by the coast, would they be covered under Bill as like satellite stations for distribution with someone in each of their locations?
Sounds perfect.
Okay. And another question, if I may. You mentioned that there is security, if this happens, that will be delivering the main food supplies and medical supplies to the main hubs. Now, will that also be offered, the security, to the smaller distribution centers for the people like myself and friends that are going to help me in contacts that I have?
The way it was explained on the Zoom call with Kim and Thomas, is that security teams will be delivering these supplies to the state groups who have these hubs already set up. And that's what we're working on tonight. Well, so as far as security teams for what are you saying?
Well, like Bill mentioned, when he wanted to open a drive-through in his parking lot for people to drive through and just pick up whatever they're going to pick up, Is there
Oh,
going
I
to be
see.
some
Okay.
kind of security for these smaller groups that are handing out all this?
I see what you're saying. I explained my situation the other night, and I have 200 people available to not only help load and unload supplies, but also I could have some of those people act as a security. They're all veterans, so they're very capable of being part of a security system for the distribution center.
So it would be best that whoever is in a distribution center, a smaller one, make arrangements with certain type people to maybe come and help to provide security. Is that what we need to do?
You could do that if you feel it's necessary, and that also was mentioned tonight. You might want to contact Oath Keepers in your area. They're there. You're just going to have to find out how to contact them. Maybe I wouldn't go to the local sheriff because we don't know whose side he's on. But if you punch it into I used to connect with Oath Keepers by way of the internet, and they have a main website.
Right.
And I'm sure they'll give you a list of all the groups. They won't give out names, but they'll give you a list of groups in your particular area. That's just one suggestion.
That's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, Tina has another chat note here. The small news station KUSI in San Diego loves feel-good stories. So there's one station she thinks maybe we'll ask Tina to contact them when the time comes. Okay, Willow is next.
We're here. We could, I have friends that are in the AA program or NA program, and these guys, they get together every summer for camping, and I mean, this would be a wonderful avenue. I've got people all over the Bay Area. They're pocketed in Vallejo and Truckee, so I can give them a call, and they can pull together, people in the area. And Bill, right now I'm traveling, and I should return back to the Bay Area on Monday. And so I could, if you need help in San Ramon or whatever, I can go wherever you need some help. So just let me know. Otherwise, I'll be nestled in my relative's house in the East Bay, around Berkeley area. Okay.
Okay, I'm here. You just message me. I'm easy to get a hold of.
Okay. Well, you let me know if you need my help.
Okay. When is this? Is there a time frame on this going down?
I think we'll find out more tomorrow night, Bill.
Okay.
On the Thursday call or show. Who knows? They
Right.
Thomas might just come on and say, okay, stand down on that, because they figured things out. I don't know. It's up in the air.
Okay, next is Angela. Hey, Angela.
Hi, everyone. I was just wondering, when Stella mentioned schools, and a lot of people, low-income families, like right now, especially suffering, is it okay for us to approach like high schools, because they have large facilities, they have refrigeration, they have big parking lots, and as far as location wise, they're all over everywhere.
Great idea.
And my other question was, I was trying to figure out, I live right next door almost to a small hospital, Vertigo Hills Hospital here. And I was trying to figure out if they're government owned or not. They were bought 2 years ago by USC Medical Center, and I'm not sure about USC. Does anybody know if USC is like government subsidized, or like how would I be able to find out if organizations are federal or not?
Well, it's the University of Southern California, so some degree it's
Government.
subsidized.
Rothschild. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
had the same question. I was wondering, if that would be good, but
I know, I have the name of the CEO, but that's as far as I got.
Yeah, just know real quick, all universities are connected to the Catholic Church, if you didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Good point. Yeah, the LA Coliseum would be a nice spot for a main hub.
And also, I was looking into the Burbank Airport, and I don't know if they're federally owned or not, but currently they only have 3 terminals operating anyway on usual times, but now it's only 1 terminal operating. So there's all of that space right here, and it's right in the city. And even around Burbank, the valley, there's other smaller airports that are privately owned, usually by the celebrities. So I wouldn't know how to suss them out,
Burbank is owned by the city of Burbank, but there is the TSA there, so there's a federal connection. I don't know if that's something we have to be careful of.
I see. Okay, that was my thought. Those were
Good ideas. Good ideas. Just like Bill said, be careful.
Yes. Thank you, Angela. I was thinking airports. Are they under the control of the FAA, or I don't know how that works, but.
Well, yeah, they all are. Sure.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Bill. All right. Estella is next.
So we're gonna get it like in the movies, parachuter, because everything is TSA and federal. I mean, can they block us?
Not if they don't know about it.
And not if they want to eat.
Good one, Ken.
So when you were mentioning these people, is it the odd or the old keepers?
It's called oath, like taking an oath. Oath Keepers of America.
Okay, so probably organization like that, the firemen or the veterans, do a network through them. It can help us and give us a green light because they will know how to, run in the green line undetected. So,
yeah, you don't have to go directly to the VA, but a lot of I know San Diego has its own Veterans of San Diego. They actually own properties that were either given to them or purchased, like bases that have been shut down. They have a big campus right across the highway from MCRD, and it's owned by the Veterans of San Diego. San Diego has always been a huge military town, and they're very active, and they seriously take care of their own down here. I can't say that for a lot of other places like Long Beach, for instance. They're a little shady up there. I can't speak for Los Angeles, but there are veterans organizations like VFW halls, things like that aren't connected to the VA administration, let's say.
what is the other group of guys that they don't go to the military, but they become like in case of they need it, they call them?
National Guard.
Yeah, the National Guard, that will be more independent, or is it?
I don't think we want to deal with anything that has to do with the military, because as we know who owns the military.
The National Guard can be taken over by Trump or the administration.
Right.
Okay.
Real quick is that the cops, the military, the local people, they got families to feed too. So I don't see, they might bust wide open if we need it. Okay, going back to mute.
Okay. All right, Vicky.
Well, I thought something was kind of interesting in my town. That was just happened the other day. I just share the National Guard distributed food at a church in Ojai, at a St. Thomas, Catholic church, through the Food Share website for low-income families. They had to show ID or proof of their residence, and then they had to do a drive-through only and 1 box per household. And I just found out about that, yesterday. So I don't even know how they even advertise that. But like you said, that was through a National Guard and also through a church. And look at how strict, you have to do a drive-through, prove that you live here. So basically it's not really that free if you got to here's my card. It's me. I live here. So that was kind of weird. But some things are happening, but it's not on the scale that we would want to do it. So that was through Food Share website.
Good one.
Okay. Anybody else? I don't have any other hands raised now.
We have a local food bank here too in Mendocino County, y'all. We have a lot of volunteers working in that area. They've got ties to the markets and stuff that might work in the other direction, in reverse to as far as communications and distribution. Got a co-op here, but I suggest just to be ready for down the road. Not saying it's going to happen. To have interruptions in the internet, have interruptions in your cell phones and communications and power. Have yourself a propane tank with a burner on it that you can cook. I do have, a couple years ago, I bought some, I don't know how available it is now, but I got freeze-dried food with a 25-year shelf life. Like Patriot Foods, a Patriot Supply or something like that. And all you need to do is add water and, boil the water and you throw this stuff in there. It's done in 15 minutes. It's about $7 or $8 a meal. That may be another thing for Thomas. If you talk to Thomas, Jim, is that, or Bill, is that if they're purchasing overseas, if the local supplies don't have these freeze-dried foods, they're a good way to not to have to worry about refrigeration. And the other thing is the supply of water in the big cities. We may have, the National Guard, or we may have other, Army surplus bladders. They make big bladders that they use in the desert for water. So water's going to be a big issue too. So I'm just saying, have that on the back burner, to take care of yourself. And a 2-wire phone system. I don't know how relevant that is in the city now. I've got it here. And connections with hams, who have their own emergency broadcast system that California actually tried to shut down not too long ago. Legislature, there was a bill put in the legislature trying to shut down all the hams. They do have a federal license, but in emergency situations, you don't even need a license. You can just pull up your radio and go on. So just be ready.
I got some radios, but I don't have a license.
Before we go to Sean, who's been raising his hand, 2 things that weren't mentioned, that were mentioned Monday, is Ken hit on it a little bit. Food banks, and in smaller locations, I think every community or upscale community has fairgrounds. There's another one, large property that can be used as a smaller distribution center. With that said, let's go to Sean.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, here we are, huh? And I did not know about this. I apologize. And so is there a recording of the Saturday meeting on
Yes.
MeWe or something?
It's on both the pages, Sean.
Okay.
The one you want to listen to is the Zoom recording. It's on the pages from, I don't know the date. It was last Thursday evening. Thomas did a Zoom call. 100 people were able to attend right after his Thursday night show, which only went for an hour and a half.
Okay,
so
thank you.
We'll try to send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. And by the way, I'm in between Kimberly Hagstrom and Reno, basically.
Right.
About 80 miles from Chico, east of Chico.
Right. So it sounds to me like the closest main hub for you would be Sacramento.
Yeah.
So you'll have to, get creative up where you are. Susanville's not a big town, but it's a good sized town. And I know you have a fairgrounds there.
Yeah, sure do.
So those are the type people, private, I don't know who the fairgrounds are coordinated by, probably the Chamber of Commerce or something like that.
I think the county. Fairgrounds run by
fairgrounds,
counties.
right.
Yeah.
So just some ideas for you.
Yeah, there's a few food distribution centers here also.
You definitely have oath keepers in that group, many that are very active.
Okay, the next one's Pamela L.
There we go. First, I'd like to mention that Napa County does have a fairgrounds, but the California state bought it a couple years ago, so I don't know if that's a real good idea. And also the fairgrounds in Calistoga, which is up valley from here, is owned by the city. I don't know if that's a good idea also. I can check into it, but I sort of shied away from that idea. And I have been talking to a couple neighbors that live here with me in the mobile home park, and they have a huge warehouse that is out by the Napa airport in their wine barrel distribution. The only thing is it doesn't have refrigeration, but it is a large warehouse, so it could store dry goods and that. And they do have room for 18-wheelers to come in and load and unload, and they have forklifts. So that might be a plus for certain things. And then Sissy, Miriam, and I have a very good contact here in Napa Valley. And once we get the go-ahead on this, we will contact him because he knows people throughout the whole valley. And I'm sure he would be a very good source to get contacts for distribution and logistics. And there's a couple of other possibilities. The city clerk that retired that I work for, and the fire administration secretary that retired that I worked with might be possible contacts. They're both retired, so we won't have to worry about the city too much. But they would be very good resources for contacts and getting the distribution and logistics organized, and they would help out a lot because they know a lot of people. And then I have a neighbor here, he works in construction, and his friends in construction have trucks, so they might be able to help too. And the people that have the warehouse have 18-wheelers and 2 bobtail trucks. I haven't spoke to them about being able to use their trucks because their wine barrel business might be picking up and they'll be using them for that. But if it comes to an emergency, I'm sure they would help us out with the distribution and picking up goods and delivering them. And then I have a couple other possible ones, but that's what I've got right now.
That's terrific.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Kimberly's next, and then Demi.
A couple things while you were all talking, I was thinking if there is going to be cold food or perishable items, they're probably already going to be coming in on refrigerated trucks. Why don't we just make that a priority and distribute that food first? Because we don't want to be like Costa Rica and leaving our stuff in storage. We want to hope to distribute as much as we can. So if we have reefer trucks, maybe we could bargain for them to leave them there for a couple days, like maybe 2 or 3 days, get all that cold stuff distributed as fast as we can straight to the people, and then offload that. And then we're not worried about having to store it anywhere else or coming up with storage. We just do it straight from the truck. And while we're doing that, I was thinking, in this area where I'm at, people are already used to getting food in a box from the CSAs, and they all have their own trucks, and a lot of them are refrigerated. So if we need to make, hub, and they could all go to a little bit of distances as well. So we could probably work with our local CSAs for that. And we could probably also work with the homeless shelters and the soup kitchens, because we could probably get direct distribution from them as well, because they're already serving that population that we're interested in anyway, and get the food packets and probably some medical supplies to them as well. Because they're already doing that. And then another group, I thought, Habitat for Humanity. They're building the low-income housing. They already have a database of thousands and thousands and thousands of people in every local area where they're at, which is in almost every area in every county. So, and that I would use that as far as getting word out, advertisement. It'd be easy for them to send a flyer or put an email out or something to get a hold of people on their database. And then you have a whole group of people who know about it that might not have heard about it. And then I also thought, I have a sister-in-law who is a director of a work training center. Do you guys know what that is? The ARC? A work training center. It's hiring handicapped people, but they're not really hired. They just kind of work there. And I'm sure that they would love to be a part of something like this. They work in like Salvation Army. They work in stores as cashiers. They do stock. They do stuff like that. So they'd probably be really perfect for this. And call them up and see if they could possibly help in the area that you're located in. And then as we're going to use airports, we could probably use the hangars to store our dry goods for a day or two, however long it takes us to distribute that stuff out. And that's a secure. The private airports would mostly be likely to be in the counties, I'm guessing, and they're already locked up and they're already secure. So I don't know if the problem is we don't know if this stuff's coming in via plane or if it's going out, via truck. Because if we could get a big enough plane and say we needed to get something to a smaller hub, I know the pilot who owns the airport. We have a main airport here, but he owns the service. It's a private owned service. And we could probably talk to someone like that and get them to ship stuff. Say Demi needed something and we had it and they didn't. We could probably get pilots to fly stuff for us in like their little network. Just a thought. Okay.
Good stuff.
All right. Demi, you had your hand up.
I wanted to get this out. It's kind of maybe not, this is the wrong time for it, but it wouldn't be bad to know now. Who is in charge of the government? Is it still Trump or is it FEMA? Does anyone know?
No. Federal Reserve, Wall Street.
Well, besides the usuals, I mean.
We don't know. Nobody knows.
Okay, next question. Great question, isn't this great?
Great question.
Jesus,
brought that up.
We don't know who's in charge. Okay, can I represent myself when I talk to people? I'm representing the TPC, the People's Club.
I don't see why not.
Okay, as I'm a member and all that, so yeah. Because in some cases, I probably definitely will, because this is the organization that will be involved in connecting with Ever. So, okay. Any objections, Bill? Any problems? Phyllis, you're okay with that?
I'm fine.
Bill?
We've got to tie ourselves to this charity.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, I'm not sorry. What do I think? Jim Wall, I'm sorry. Well, for some reason, there's a Bill connected with you, and I know why. It's not going to do any good. Jim is... If I call you Bill, you're supposed to know I'm talking to you. Bill is a very good friend of mine. Anyway,
that's okay. No problem. Another controller, in my opinion, and which is very obvious, is CIA and Langley.
Oh, the government?
Langley in coordination with the Federal Reserve and the two factions that Thomas speaks of all the time, the Rothschilds and the Black Sun. That's who controls U.S. Inc.
Okay.
Not America, U.S. Inc.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
So, you know, and you have to think, they control the media. There's a CIA agent in every media outlet available. You name it, CNN, MSNBC, all the mainstream media portal people Tommy talks about. There's a CIA agent in every operation, and sitting there watching what the portal people are saying. As you know, if you step out of line, there goes your job. Bill O'Reilly, people like who Judge Janine, you know, that all of a sudden just disappear from their jobs because they said too much.
Well, she was
Yeah.
one who would have, yeah. Thank you,
Anyway.
Jim. I've got one more question. As long as I'm getting through the list here, there's something I'll bring it up now. I don't want to, you know, alarm anybody, but as you probably all know, there's been an enormous amount of military hardware being moved around the U.S. from March on, and we're talking lots and lots, you know, train loads full of tanks and so forth. This is being moved around the country. There's lots of videos online about this. And we do know they're stockpiling some of it. We know some places. We have photos. Richie from Boston has done a lot of good work in this, others as well, and Truth by Grace and so on. All right, this is a reality. So here's my question. This is really for more like Jim and Phyllis, who are going to be talking directly to Thomas and Kim, perhaps. If they decide to do something, since this country is armed to the teeth, but putting in tanks and so forth, and they all have rubber treads on so they can drive on surfaces, road surfaces. If it comes down to it, and you don't have to answer this if you know, if you don't think it's right, but just so that Kim is aware of this, if there is any of the operational systems she has from the order, quantum AI, whatnot, that can disable this stuff, because this would be critical. And Richie from Boston, you know, he's connected to the military, who was military himself, so he's got all these people giving him info. So this is important. It's the situation, and if Kim, and again, don't answer, don't say anything if you don't want to. Maybe this is not the best time to do it. But if Kim is not aware of this, she should be aware of it, and hopefully she has the systems. And next on the list, believe me, I would not stop at the Universal Council either. We're looking at something that is potentially quite ugly, and I know they've got kind of, so to speak, skin in the game here. So this might be another approach. That's Kim and Thomas are on the council, but this is something that we ourselves cannot deal with directly. So this is just saying it. Don't answer. Whatever you want to say, fine. But you know, as long as Kim knows this, that's all I care about. Done.
I would be very surprised. I'd be surprised if Kim did not know about this. She's got a lot of inside information we don't hear about. So does Thomas.
Can you just make it a point of informing her, just to make sure, because I don't know what she knows, and I'm sure she has tremendous intel, but this could be a deal killer, you know.
If you listen to the last Zoom call from the weekend,
I listened to it.
Kim and Thomas on there. Well, I don't know how you feel about it, but I got the feeling, and others did also, of the vibe on that call. And in my opinion, Kim and Thomas were very much in control. Everyone was jovial. I got the opinion that, I observed them all being in, total control of the situation. and they were joking around, and I don't think they'd be doing that if it was, let's say you talked about military exercises. I've heard that too, mostly on YouTube, and you have to remember, it could also be loop news, because the same thing was put all over YouTube back during, if you remember, the Jade Helm situation. Everybody was putting videos up there of troop movements here and there. I had someone say it to me, and I just went and did a tour of San Diego. I didn't see any military, and this is a military town. I didn't see any of that stuff. Someone sent me a video of tanks on the tracks going from the border north. You have to remember, there's Camp Pendleton is a huge armory. They have a tank battalion there, so they could just be, sending equipment to Camp Pendleton. I don't know for sure, but if it was an issue, I think Thomas and Kim would have mentioned that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And this is certainly possible. I've never seen anything of this many and this many people who normally don't get involved. I think this is real. And if I were running this operation, I'd like to put myself in the enemy's point of view. I sure would. And we know who controls the military. So I don't know what Kim knows, and I have no way of knowing, nor do I want to know. But it would be really good, because this is something that, just because they're in the good, I saw this too. I thought they were having a lark. I mean, they were just having a great time at Kim. And that's wonderful to see and hear. Actually, I didn't see it. But if this is not on their list, it should be, if there's anything to it. And so all I can ask is that that if you could, push it forward a little bit, just drop it, and then, hey, that's it, we're done. She can decide whatever. I don't care. But this is a deal killer as far as I can see. If, because I expect, you see what's going on in Michigan right now. These they're just mobbing Lansing, and people are just going crazy. I expect that if this thing intensifies and these idiots decide to squeeze us harder, that we are going to start seeing a lot. And I'm already seeing, I did this flyer, you saw it. This has been shared 45 times on my other YouTube channels, my friends. So there's a lot of people that are rising up, and we're armed to the teeth. And so if I were running this kind of operation, I would certainly have all the means necessary. What I would do is I'd starve everybody out and wait for the riots to start, and then bring in the savior. That's what I would do. But it's available. That's sitting there, and it's available in quarries and whatnot. They've got one from satellite photo and one from somebody on the ground with, observing this stuff in quarries. That's not a camp, for military. So if this is going on and so on, this could be a real deal killer, especially now we have to think like this. So anyway, I just want to bring this out and leave it at that. And so if you think this is something, you could just toss at Kim, and she can say whatever. And I never have to hear another word about it. I've done what I can do. I'm just the messenger here. But
Okay.
thanks.
Thanks, Timmy. All right, Willow.
So it was my experience. I love truck drivers. I mean, that's where I slept, was in truck stops throughout the United States. And I would have conversations with them about the Federal Reserve, and I told them about the People's Club, and they said they'll look into it. And I said, do you guys keep in contact? I said, oh yeah. Throughout the night they have these conversations on their radios. And in almost every state, there are these truck stops like Flying J, Sinclair, and these truck drivers, you tell one, they'll tell everybody on their there's is it a CB radio, or
Yep.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
So also the flyers, when I handed out flyers, if I didn't, I always had one.
I always kept one. That was my template. So if I ran out of flyers, people use their phones and they took a picture of my flyer. And then that way they could just text it to anyone. So my thought is that, and I don't know how public we want this, but if it came to be the flyer that I posted, there's still room on there. I could post the distribution centers in California, and then people, if they hand out the flyer in their area, they could put out where the small distribution centers are, where they can go pick up. And I think if people knew where these were, then they could show up and help, or they can spread the word and say, that this is where we could pick up the food in this area. So those are just my suggestions, and I'll mute.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, there's some, not everybody can see these chat notes, I don't think. Bill Willits has said Nextdoor is a website that connects and informs neighbors about what is going on. We could use this to get the word out about food deliveries and to get volunteer help. I don't know if that's a particular site that's monitored by...
Okay, I can answer to that. When I was in Napa, in my area, and I think it was within, like a 16-block radius, I was part of a Nextdoor. I had to register. I had to prove a residence in order for me to have access to the passwords to go in there. And yes, they actually posted whatever went on in the area, and that is actually great, because people, what I found when I was in Napa is that they did, especially the elderly, they checked the Nextdoor on a daily basis. They wanted to know what was going on in their neighborhood. So that's a great idea.
Okay. Anybody else want to?
Let me just say just a few things, Phyllis. According to what Willow said, yes, please, if you could, I know you posted that flyer on the chat for me, and I can transfer it, but everyone needs to take responsibility for their own particular areas, and do it your way. Just be cautious, careful of who you're dealing with, and I lost my train of thought, but if you could get that to us, Willow, and we can all print it out and use it.
I'll post it on the main again, and I'll look it over to make sure it's correct. So I won't be posting it two or three times. But once we get if this goes forward and we have the distribution centers, then I will write it out, the distribution centers, and then post that. But yes, I will post what I already have. Okay.
And it's the same thing with the pages. This call, everybody needs to take individual responsibility, staying tapped in and tuned in to what's going on. Read the information on the pages, listen to all the calls, get on as many as you can. For me personally, this is all I do. In my opinion, we're the only hope. I can't think of anything else that I would rather be participating at this time than this group and our main group and THI, because like Thomas said, if we are the third faction, we're the only ones that are actually care about and want to do anything for the American people. The other two factions that we're, I guess you could use the word fighting against, trying to eliminate, and they're eliminating themselves, is the Rothschilds and the Black Sun. That's it. They're the only two left. They're the ones that are creating all this by way of their minions. Bill Gates, for one, that's who created this, whatever this so-called virus is. It's happened so many times, it's ridiculous that these people, and the average person doesn't see it. because they don't know and understand the information that we've been given. So yeah, we all need to be responsible for staying tapped in and tuned in. That's enough for me. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. See, I want to just
Okay,
interject
Jim.
this, if I may, just this one point before I forget. Profile, that the form she created, all of us, it's important that all of us get our information in. It doesn't take but 5 minutes once you pull up the form. It's posted, I posted it up on the page in MeWe, and I'm sure Jim, you probably already posted it, the form is probably under files maybe in Facebook or wherever they have those things in Facebook.
Kimberly and I both posted it, and
Okay.
Some have already filled it in, such as Demi, Pamela, and my only question is, where do they want this information filed?
Well, it's interesting because when I filled out the form, alternatively, I guess I did, Michael J. got it. So yeah, we got to find out for the other ones. Like Ken filled it out and I saw it, and I was thinking, did it go somewhere else, or that's just where the form is, filled form?
Well,
yeah,
I filled it out three times. I filled out
okay.
Ramona's, the one she sent and posted. I filled that out and imported it over to the Google Docs, and it's on there presently. And I also filled out the one Michael put up on MeWe that I believe is connected to either the MeWe files or the People's Club.
Yeah.
So I mean,
could be. Well, anyway, I've got Raw's form up there, and people need to click on it. Now, I think it connects to Word, but if you don't have Word, you're going to have to figure out another way to open it up, fill it out, and save it.
I have a question really quick. Is Bill okay? Because Bill's screen's been black. I can't see him in his light.
I just don't have I live in like darkness.
No, but your light flashing like an SOS. I've been sitting here staring, going, is Bill alive? What is going on?
I'm here. It's actually bright in this room, but it's just I can't see anything on the screen.
Can you see your light blinking?
Oh, that's me.
I was like, is Bill trying to give us the SOS? What's happening here?
He always does that.
I've
is that light blinking behind me?
It is. It's been blinking for like 5 minutes. It's freaking me out. I'm like, SOS. What is that? 3 long ones, 2 short. I was like, what is going on there?
I'll turn it on.
Sorry, guys.
My rock light. It's my salt rock thing that doesn't block anything that they say it blocks everything.
I'd like to get back to something important here, y'all, before we lose anything. Anybody else got their hands up, may I ask?
Go ahead,
Ken. No, you're okay, Ken.
Okay. You asked me earlier, Phyllis, about that question about how to upload stuff, and I'm sure Thomas has said that he's got back doors into each state group. He can shut them down. I know that. If he can shut them down, he can get in. And so that may be an answer to that question there. And if you don't have Word, there's a free program. I think it's called Open Office. You can open up docx files or doc files, Word 97, Word 95, and just if you save it, you don't save it as a .odt in that Open Office. It's a free program. I downloaded it, and then I set my firewall to block it from being upgraded or monitored. I just blocked it in my firewall, but right now it may not be an issue. So that's that. There's some there may be some other software out there if you're having problems with Word, but you go ahead and go into the file section in THI or THI California. You'll find the basic file there up top for your information, and you go ahead and open it up either in your free program, Open Office, or Word. And then you go ahead and if you asked me before how I got it on and if nobody knows, I'll just say it real quick, is you just go to the file section and then you go to the button that's marked add with a plus sign on it. If depending upon your OS, It may look different, but it'll have a plus sign on it, and usually add. You click on that add button, and then another window comes up, and I don't try and drag and drop at all because some of that stuff doesn't work depending upon your OS and your firewalls and what kind of security system you have because you've downloaded this file. I always scan mine through my security software, but I go ahead and download that file. And then I fill it out, and then I go to the file section again, and I click on the add plus, the little plus sign to add, and then a window comes up that says choose files or drag. I don't drag and drop it, Ashley, and I click the choose files button, and when the choose file button, it brings up the file manager wherever you've saved it under your name instead of just the information in the middle there in between the plus and minus signs. You put your name there, and of course, you click that button that says choose files, and you click on that file that you saved that you filled out. That's the Word or DocX or whatever you saved it as. It should be a Doc or DocX. And then you go ahead and click OK, and it'll go right in. It'll upload to the system. And that's it as far as that's concerned. And I got one other thing real quick. To put some steel in yourselves and remember that the Black Sun and that the Rothschilds, their whole system is an illusion. It's an illusion. We're real. And we are the ones who have the power. We have the power. And Thomas and Kim talked about a few things that's happened to me as well. This is just for people's information, just for their hearts and for their confidence. Thomas talked about running down the railroad tracks with a Black Hawk helicopter flying over them. Well, I've been there too, and know that if you're pro bono and you're doing this stuff for free and right now, that the quantum system is already in there and working, and that the intent will work for you, and your crown chakra is open and stuff happens. I've been shot at. The bullets ricochet off my shield. They actually ricochet off my shield. But I've also got good people out there in the background that are watching and taking care of us. You don't see them because you put them in danger. If you mark them and you look at them, and it's kind of hard not to look at them, but they're around, and they're good people. They're usually with the intelligence or the military. They're working on their own. They're working pro bono, or they may be just coming in from another dimension, which I call them twos. And I've had them come in to save my ass many a time. And I've actually had a couple of times where someone is setting up with intent, and the quantum system has picked this up. And these particular people, a couple of them, have just literally disappeared from the face of our reality. One, his car and his satellite system, and I know this because I saw a little poster down in the local area where I went to get some fish and chips, is that he was a missing person, and it mentioned that his car and his satellite system and his smart, the phone system on your rearview mirror there, I forget what they call it, it was totally missing. It was just gone. So know that there's protection out there for source, and that will be okay. Know that you'll be running across CIA all over the place. A lot of sheriffs and police are CIA. Anybody in power who has control is CIA. Langley in some form. Secret Service. Also, YouTube is owned by the CIA. But cosmic law says they have to put some truth out there. So you know how we pick and choose and we look through stuff. There's some truth out there, but you got to give it with a grain of salt. Like this guy said, Obama was picked up and arrested, and this guy was in Guantanamo Bay and all that stuff. I looked into that, but that's about as far as I'll go with that. So just put some steel in your bones. We've got some back in here, and that source, that's the quantum system. It's already in force. The time is now, and if we need to do this stuff, we'll be okay. All right?
Okay, Ken. Thank you. We needed a little pep talk, a boot in the bum.
Yeah.
All right, Vicki, you have your hand raised, or is that from your last
No,
comment?
that it's for this one.
Okay.
The guy that just spoke about, I tried writing all that stuff down because I'm still having a really heck of a time getting that file. I've only been able to click Kimberly's file and it goes to Dropbox, and I can't delete her information and put mine in. And I have a Apple laptop, and it decides, don't ask me why, because my honey works from home on his laptop, which is regular. Mine, the internet just stops. It says not connected. And I'm on my phone again because of it. And I went to THI. I thought, well, maybe I can contact them and get that little, get it from them. And I can't even get in there. I mean, I can go to the THI website, but it's like, if I according to that, I can't, I can only do what the regular public can do. Even though I contribute, it won't let me do anything. So I don't know what else to do.
Okay, you got somebody here with IT security, okay? Number one, do you have security software in a firewall like Norton or McAfee or some other system like that?
I have an Apple laptop, but I don't have any of that kind of security.
Okay, forget about it. If you don't have security software, forget about it. Everybody gets security software. I've talked about this before. I'm not mad or upset. I'm just passionate here. You must have a second-hand security system. Mac systems are not protected. There is all kinds of crap out there. If you have an old operating system and an old system with Chrome, like 10.7.4 or before, or even MacBook Pros, the old laptops like 4 or 5 years ago, some of those security doors have been shut, and THI will not load at all. I mean, you'll get just a blank page with some kind of stuff in there, but the quantum system's going to shut it down because the doors are open for a particular. But get your security software. I can suggest you go to Norton, even though it's Cimitech, but they have to provide your security because you're paying for the service, and you can protect up to 5 devices like your smartphones. And you can just send an email to your smartphone or Android or whatever OS it is, open it up and run it. Shut down your wireless systems too, people, at night. You go to bed. Put your cellular in the microwave and unplug it. Unplug the microwave, throw your cellular phone in there. There's a lot in the cities. You got a lot of stuff hanging around. Put your shields up. You should have triple source. You should have source shields now. Shields up. One of them should be a Faraday cage. Imagine not just a shield around you. In my opinion now, this is only my suggestion. It's up to you. But with your shields, triple shields now. You should have your source shield from the almighty source creator of all things. Your original mirrored shield that you see around yourself. Okay. Then you should have a Faraday cage that blocks anything above, any microwave systems that are going to hurt your body or control you in any way. And then you should have your mirror shield. Your mirror shield is going to not so much nowadays. Mine sends all the nasty energy back to source. If you want to send it somewhere, you used to mirror people directly, and that sometimes in this day and age right now, at the level of hate and fear that's out there, I found that's not a good idea unless you're under attack. If you're under attack, you can do whatever you need to defend yourself. With the mirror program, you can mirror back or return to sender times 10. You all know that. But triple shields, remember that. And run them every day when you get up. You don't have to do it all the time, but when you feel like you're in danger, listen to your intuition. If you feel you got to run your shields up, run them. You go somewhere, run them. And also your firewall protect your systems. Put source as your main firewall on your systems, but clean up your caches on your DOS systems. Go into your cache, your temporary internet files, clean them out. If you have to get Mac Keeper software, I would get Norton first for your Macs, and then I would get like a Mac Keeper that goes in there and cleans up all your temporary files. You fill up with junk, and it'll slow you down and stop you. So right now, just upgrade your shields. And
Ken, C Cleaner is good too, right? C Cleaner cleans up stuff.
I haven't used it. If you have good experience with that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, CCleaner's good.
Okay,
You
great.
can
And then-
download a free version for regular PCs.
Okay, there you go. Mac is another one. Mac Keeper, I think it's. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. Maybe I'll put it on. But we've got to get everybody's information for ourselves. I mean, I want to see everybody on the THI California personally with that information sheet so I can print it out. I want to have the information here with me. I want to be able to contact somebody.
We're
And
going to need
Thomas
it for
is-
these distribution centers too. You're right.
Yeah, and remember now remember it's all this stuff. It's an illusion, and I think Thomas has said this many times as well. Am I not correct? So just hang in there, and people around you are probably, you notice they're going nuts. Thomas has talked about this before as well. Just watch them flail about.
Okay.
Don't, and that's my suggestion here. Thomas has said it as well. Is just watch them flail about, give them love if you can, help them if you can. But if they refuse help and you look like you're going to get attacked, turn around and walk away. We can't help them.
What's your name again? I can't see you on the thing.
No, I'm on a phone because I got tapped that it would be best for me right now. I listened to my intuition that it would be best for me just to go on the phone. So I listen to my intuition, and I'm on the phone, and I'm not on the computer. And
This is Ken. This is Ken who's talking now.
Oh, Ken, does your intuition tell you yes or no if I can contact you later after the?
Yeah.
Sometime?
Anybody can contact me now. Yeah. Do you have my phone number already?
No, I don't.
Okay, it's 707 882 1966.
966. Okay.
Yeah. You got that?
Are you northern or southern?
Say that. I didn't hear you, Kim. Do you have that? 707 882 1966.
I think that's Vicky, isn't it? Vicky?
Yeah,
I think he was asking what part of California you're in.
Mendocino County on the coast.
Oh, okay. Mendo. All right.
Yeah, and I've been in this pro bono for, now this is not for me. This is for y'all to make you feel better. 30 years I've been doing this pro bono. Part of a group of people who work pro bono because the government didn't do the right thing. It's not Q either. It's another group. And for 30 years I've been a dowser and a diviner and looking for wells and stuff, but and water is source. But what I'm getting at is that this security for your computers is really critical, and be able to run your updates when you turn on your computer and run a quick scan, and then when you get off you update again and you do a quick scan, and every day you clean your cache and your temporary internet files and keep it clean, okay? And let's see what else. Oh, I never until about maybe a year maybe I started letting my name out. I mean, I just was hidden, not even by my own effort. Some names on my accounts were hypothesized that they were just changed. I didn't do it, but Source did it, or someone did it. That's good. It was protecting me. But lately, my name's out there. My phone number's out there. No fear, people. None.
All right. Well,
right? Okay.
All right, Kenny. I got to get some other hands to some other folks here.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you. Okay. The next person, Debbie.
I have a cell phone, and I don't really know. I guess all that applies to the phone. I don't know. But all I can get is Cynthia Bent's profile up, and I can't change it. I can't figure out a way to make it so that I can do my own profile.
Okay, then you can text, can't you? You can make can you make any kind of document? Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you save that? Can you put it up as a post on THI somewhere? THI California?
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Doesn't matter what it is. Just in my opinion, unless I get shut down here, just get something out there and open up. Open up. Don't be scared. Put all your information out there, and if you get blocked and you're running into a wall, find another door. Don't keep bumping your head against the door. Just find another door. Just throw it in there and text, because it doesn't matter whether they know who we are right now.
Okay, thank you. Was that it, Debbie?
Yeah, I can do that for sure.
We'll work with you. Just try to get this some information. Now, have you been able to see what the questions are on the form?
Yes, I can see
Okay,
that.
then you've got the template. Okay, that's perfect. All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
I think I need to do that too.
Okay, Vicki.
You guys, can we get them to put the information, maybe email it to someone like me or whoever who can put it in form and then upload it?
I already beat you to it, kiddo. I already offered to do that. And
Okay.
I don't know, for certain situations where people have just their phones, that might end up being the way we have to go. I'm not sure yet, but.
Phyllis, why don't you do it for MeWe, and Kimberly can do it for Facebook, so it's not such a big deal.
Yeah, because I don't have any issues. It just uploads for me. I don't like that crap. I'm just like, that's my intention, is to go in. I don't care. Just do it. And so if anyone wants to message me on Facebook and you want to email me your information, it takes like 90 seconds to put the profile together. I could type it in for you, then go straight over and submit it, and then you'll be uploaded.
Right
on.
on.
Or if you can just email the empty form, I can do email on my phone.
Okay. I'm going to go into participants, into the chat. I'm going to put my email in for anyone who wants to email me.
That'll be on Facebook or MeWe?
I'm going to be on Facebook. I can't.
I'll be on. It'll be me on MeWe.
I can't.
Okay.
I can put my email on down again too. All right. We have Urban Food Foresting with us.
It's Kevin. That's my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Sorry. I just wanted to put out there a good idea for turning your wireless off at night is to get a timer, like a lamp timer for your wireless modem or router. I have it set where it turns off at like 11 o'clock or whenever you go to bed, like 30 minutes after you go to bed until you wake up, 6, 7 o'clock.
Right on, right on. Shut the wireless down at night, people. Get your head away from the smart meters.
Yeah, and another thing I just noticed, I'm outside and I don't see the moon. Have you guys been outside? Sometimes I don't see the moon. It's like they turned it off or something.
We're coming up on a new moon.
Time?
Yeah, it's new moon, people. Coming up on new moon.
Yeah.
Can I talk?
Okay. Kevin, were you finished?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. Then Stella, you're next.
Actually, I unplug important devices like the Wi-Fi, the computers, and even remove the battery of a laptop because I turn it off and they come on by themselves. So
yeah,
I just want to say that. And another thing I've been noticing, they are doing some frequencies or something, and what I notice, my brain gets affected, if you work in the computer or you're too long, and I found out the tuning forks or some kind of sound, it breaks the frequency of the brain, and I kind of get out of that sucking feeling of my brain is plugging something else. I just want to share that. And the other thing I notice is like in the morning, I've been waking up like, I don't know if, whatever happened in the nighttime, but it's been kind of weird the last 3 days. And also they start with the geoengineering around here 2 nights ago. I don't know if you guys noticed that. And I had the confirmation also, a friend in Colorado. So
Yeah, yeah, I'm aware of that crap too. There was a time where I used to shut off the breaker to my whole house, people. I just shut down my power overnight.
You know what we have to do? You just turn your frequency up. I don't
Yeah,
guys, I
yeah.
don't do I just freaking turn my frequency up.
Yeah, or your shields. Like I said, imagine a Faraday cage in your shields. It works for me.
Right. Did
Yeah.
you guys see me using this a little bit earlier? That's because the room had a little bit of funny stuff going on. So there was a bit of energy being tossed our way. It did come directly after Jim. Did you see me laughing when you mentioned the black sun? Yes. Jim, the whole screen went warbly. And I was like, oh, here we go. Fun and games. And then I could just feel waves of hot. And that's a psychic attack. So that's why I grabbed my work. I had to do that.
I had a psychic attack during the whole phone call. So
Right.
I have to drive away from my home.
It's okay. It just means we're over the target. And what we have to do is one of us on this call tonight, go clear yourself after this phone call and connect. We have to connect our psi fields so this doesn't happen again. This phone call has been under attack almost the entire time. It only got bad.
Yeah, I agree.
The other thing, we're divided physically, but our souls, they are united. And I listened to Kim, and what she was saying, is much more powerful. Our source spark and breath, our spirit, that that's what we need to feel together, one.
We have to make our own energetic grid, and that'll be our light shield. It won't even be like one light shield. It'll be a massive light shield. And then you're just protecting yourself and every other individual out there. It's what they don't want. It's what they really don't want. And that's what we really want to do. So it's my intention in this moment that our light shields connect, that our source energy is connected like a grid from each one of us. And then every spot that we're in, we sync a light and we connect directly to source. And as we're connecting directly to source, it moves in an expansive field throughout the entire state. And we're directly helping and choosing happy and choosing love, and we're increasing our vibration. And in that expansive state, we're able to do exactly what we want whenever we feel like it. And so it is.
And
Great.
so
Second that, Kimberly. I like it.
I'll second that. Everybody else in the group?
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah, that was great.
I'm
Okay.
right. I'll confirm.
Yeah,
Okay, so it is said, so it shall be done.
Yes.
Yes, I'm present.
Wonderful.
All of us will do it. We're going to do it, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be smooth. And when the phone call, if the phone call comes, we will know exactly what to do. Because we've all bonded this way through this phone. It's not like we're millions of miles apart. We're really not. We're all in the same space-time. And if we have the same intention, then it's going to be exactly what we want it to be. Exactly what we want it to be. And if we're all in agreement, then it's exactly what we choose. And they're in the illusion anyway, because it's not their creation time anymore. We're in the days of Sparog, the days of Sparog. That's why the lights are so bright. That's why we have to match that light. We just choose happy and move about our business that way.
Absolutely, Kim. I've been called a light in a dark place by some, and there's a lot that goes through this too. And if, he can literally send your energy through the earth, or you know what I mean, or the etheric.
Wherever.
Big thing that really that helps me out for everyone else is get grounding blankets. Okay, you can get these things from it's called earthing.com, and I've literally done this with my own like a voltmeter. Your current amplifies from about 12 a standard, when you wear shoes every day and all that kind of stuff. But if you just sleep and get this earthing blanket, it costs about $100, $120. You would not believe the energies and how much more stronger you get just in the stuff that's been talked on this call. If you just get your earthing blankets and you sleep with that blanket every night, you literally start fiending for it. You literally start connecting through grounding and mother and going to sleep. You literally just enjoy being in bed, and you'll feel the difference. I promise. Just a little hint I want to throw out there if I could.
Did you say earthing?
Yes, called earthing.com, earthing blankets. Get the one with the 8% silver
They usually have 5 to 8% silver woven in the blanket. And they say if you get anything from them, they're just pumping out right now. They're going to give you their book. They're going to give you everything. They're like straight, like hooking everyone up. So right now is the time to get all that stuff and just get into that, because if you're sleeping, we might as well be grounded, right? If we can't do it at any other time, which we're all trying to do anyways, but you do it while you're sleeping. That's when you get your hours in, right? You can do it subconsciously, and that's how it works.
Also, if you build an infinite loop with copper, you can hang it, along the house. It helps for the electrical magnetic field.
Okay.
One other thing you can do is drink distilled water and make sure you have enough iodine. Take nascent iodine and detoxify yourself of heavy metals, so that your body's less conductive to all these energies.
Yeah, I can, I do that. I have to do that because of my thyroid. So I know what you're talking about, Bill. All right, Willow has her hand raised.
So I don't know if anyone has heard about shungite stones. It's cheaper than buying a blanket or anything. And in Washington, a beekeeper actually has been doing research on this. He started beekeeping. And the first year he had a colony collapse. And so he bought another set of bees and he put shungite stones in front of the beehive. And when the bees went in and out, they kept rubbing themselves on it. Well, in 1 year, the bees swarmed twice, and he jumped from 1 hive to 5 hives in 1 year. And these are just stones. They're from Russia. They have an electrical magnetic field. There's a website where you could buy a little bag of them for $20. And you could put them in your water. But he's now done, it's now 4 years now. He's never had colony collapse. He speaks at bee conferences, and these beekeepers have had colony collapse, and they're finding that if they put the shungite in front, and even the shungite powder, what he did also is that he put shungite powder on the beehive entrance, and within 2 hours it was gone because they were walking through it. And so also the woman he's working with, her name is Nancy Hopkins, and if you Google Nancy Hopkins shungite, he's doing research with her. And also what he did was that she sent him some shungite powder. He put it in some paint. Out of 5 beehives, he painted 3 of them with the shungite powder and the paint. A snowstorm came in. He didn't get home soon enough to put them away. And the next day, 2 of the beehives that didn't have the paint died. The other 3 survived. So the shungite they're finding is helping with Wi-Fi. You could put some, you need 3 stones, and they're really small. They come, in really tiny stones or medium-sized stones. You could put it in your water. You could put it on your bed, on the corners, 2 and then 1, so that it kind of circulates. But, I've actually, when I traveled, I bought some nuggets, and whenever I saw a farm and I saw bees, I handed them out a flyer and with 3 stones, and I said, look at this and see.
I've got something here. I says, what is this stone? It says it's about 2 billion years old. Yes, it comes from Russia, and it's 98% pure carbon, which is quite pure. Which is interesting.
Yep. And so, they've been doing research on it for 4 years now. And so you can go to Nancy Hopkins shungite, and you can order. It's cheap. It's $20 for, and you can get a necklace too. The necklaces are $35. Helps with Wi-Fi. They have Wi-Fi stickers as well.
that you can put on your computer and you can put on your cell phone. And I'll go on mute.
Okay, thank you. All right, anybody else?
Yeah,
have a
hi,
chance?
Bill.
Oh, hi, Bill.
Hi. Another thing that's good for protection is organite. Has anybody ever heard of organite?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I made a whole bunch of it about 10 years ago. I've got it all over the house, and I never noticed anything from electromagnetic frequencies. I got it.
Has anybody heard of a toroidal field generator?
No. What is it?
That you can buy that's supposed to make the vicinity of your house supposed to like repel all Wi-Fi. Actually, the technology is called something else though. I'll have to look into that. Get back to you guys.
Okay.
I gotta check out. I got 2 girls here. I gotta cook them dinner.
Whoa. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
You're doing European style, a late dinner.
Yeah, I cooked it. Well, it just got dark, so their timings switched. And they're on quarantine. They don't have school tomorrow.
Right. All right, that's great. Good
Okay,
night, Bill.
thanks, guys.
Good I think I'm going to sign out too.
Good night, Bill.
So.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
And remember, good night. And remember, if you can't find any of this stuff, you can do all this stuff through Source. You can ground, you can shield yourself through Source. Remember, love y'all.
All right, Kenny, thanks.
All right, Ken.
Good night, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, get creative.
All right.
And, we'll come back at this next week. And it sounds like we have 3 main hubs ready to roll. So we just need to focus on 2 more. I think Sacramento being one and in the vicinity of Reading being the other. So anyone can chime in on that during the week. And we'll be back at it next week.
Okay.
Listen into the show tomorrow night. We'll get more information on all of this.
Thursday tomorrow.
Thursday,
yes.
Yeah,
Bill Willits and Angela, can I contact you tomorrow and we'll just chat and see if we can set up a time to get together? Is that okay?
Definitely.
Bill?
Yeah, I won't be available till the weekend, but sure.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'll just give you a call, Angela, and we can just go over a few things you want. And Bill, and decide when we want to get together, 3 of us. I think it'll be a good idea. Bill, will you be available on the weekend or after?
No, on the weekend. I got a job this week, so I'm working.
Okay,
tomorrow,
great.
Maybe Friday, but I'll be definitely free Saturday.
Okay, all right, great. All right.
All right, have a good night, everybody.
Okay.
Bye. You too. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. I'm gonna text you, Kimberly.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you, Jim.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
I'll say good night too. Good night, everyone.
Night, Kevin.
Night.
Be good, Sean. Stay out of trouble, will you?
It's pretty hard, I know.